on staff. And my fondest memories with her are times we spent in Thailand, because every winter we have a big conference in Thailand. And when I was 13 or 14, a group of teenagers got together and we decided that we wanted to have an adventure. And so we were going to be scuba diving certified. And so we got all our plans together and we made the arrangements. And the way it works is that you go with a buddy and you have one other person that you get your certification with. And so all the boys kind of paired off, and that left me all by myself. And I didn't have anyone to scuba dive with, so I started asking around, does anyone else want to learn? And Lynn stepped up and she said, I'd love to go scuba diving. So she got scuba diving certified with me, and she had more courage than any of us. At the end, they asked if we wanted to do a shark dive, and we all instantly said no, and she thought about it before she said no. And she just had a real heart for adventure, and she was just a very courageous woman, and that's something that I'll never forget about her.
And I just appreciate so much when we met her, just that, you know, they were taking on a new country. I had been raising my family with my husband Keith in China for many years, and they had already logged so many years in Africa, and it was such a ministry to us as a couple just entering the teen years with our kids to have someone with their expertise and enthusiasm for making it feel good and normal to raise your kids outside of the U.S. And then as we transitioned back to America 2.5 years ago to do it with them on their way back from Singapore, it was amazing. And I just, love her a lot. I was able to spend a lot of time with her in the last few weeks, and I've really enjoyed getting to know the family. And so I'm going to miss her a lot. But love you guys.
Thank you on behalf of Africa for your love for us that is continued, and for all the seeds that you sowed on our motherland. And I also want to say that Auntie Lynn was very special to our children as well. And our 4-year-old, when I told him the other day, this is the first death that has really touched him, and I watched my son sob. He's 4 years old, and he understood that he would miss her. And the other day when we were writing a card, he said, "Tell Uncle John, I know you miss Auntie Lynn, but God decided. And when you get to heaven, you can ask God." And when he went to, as he was going to bed that night, the last thing he said as he tucked himself under the, he was like curling under the blanket, and he said, "Mommy, I can't wait to go to heaven to see Auntie Lynn." And then he said, "She's going to be old." Just to know that a 4-year-old could look forward to heaven so he can see Auntie Lynn. And today when I dropped him off to come here, I told him, well, I need somebody to babysit because I need to go somewhere. And he said, "Can Uncle John babysit us?" And he said, well, he's going to be there too. But her love so touched us all that even the children just loved her so much. Thank you.
John, I think the thing that stands out to me about you and Lynn is how much you love people. I think back about four or 5 years ago, I was working for you as your assistant, and I needed some major surgery. And my mom flew into town to be with me for the surgery. But I needed a way to get to the hospital because I couldn't drive. It was, I had to stay overnight at the hospital. So you and Lynn came at 3:50 in the morning to pick up my mom and me so I could go to the hospital. And that was also after I got out of the hospital. It was the year we had all those wonderful hurricanes, 3 in like 6 weeks' time. So my mom was here for the first one, and we rode that one out. But for the next 2, you and Lynn invited me and Diana to your place to be there so we were safe as single women. We didn't have to ride out the hurricanes ourselves. We watched Lord of the Rings, so I heard what your family's favorite movies were. And I just appreciate the love that you and Lynn have showered on so many of us here in the room.
very many behind me. I feel like I could agree with everything said, as most of you could also. Mercy and just kindness and hospitality beyond. Lynn does have the gift of mercy, did have the gift of mercy. Mine is more administrative, and administrators desperately need merciful people in their lives. And God gave me her when we arrived in Kenya. I'd only been to Canada, and they'd been all over, so the Lumleys and the Chynoweths, we hung out a lot because we were trying to survive, and they were doing it very well. I think, when I think about her, I would say she's, taught me how to be a really good friend, because as many of you women would probably agree, she was a safe haven. And many years on Staff of Crusade, I had some things I didn't like about Crusade. I know. But I could talk with her and grumble and complain, and she'd nod and say, well, maybe if we looked at it this way. And I'd think, would you just go there with me for a minute? But thankfully, the Lord put her in my life to just have me look upward. And she was a haven where I could go, and we would pray, and I would leave being in a better place. And she has really challenged me in my relationships with my family and other women, especially, to be that kind of haven for them. And so we all have many reasons to miss her, but that's my reason. I love you guys.
Don't want to cut anyone off. If there's one more, if not, Jonathan, you do the same.
Give me Jesus.